everybody. Today the boys and I are heading down to the community garden.
And we're gonna dig a giant hole. Because I already started digging.
He's pretty pumped about his giant hole. We're so grateful to have this community garden so close. It's just a little walk down the street, less than 5 minutes. And we love just being a part of that community and being able to learn from other gardeners and see the things that they're growing. And it's such a beautiful place. Plus the kids have a lot of fun there. Well, we made it down to the garden and the boys are already digging their giant hole.
Oh, I found something.
Hot dog. He probably found like a chunk of plastic because that's about all. Oh, he says it's stone. So I'm just gonna take you on a little tour of what's growing here in this garden. I've got 2 plots. This is, whoa, it's probably garbage. So this is plot number 22. And then I also have a second plot that I'll show you. And we'll just have a nice time hanging out in the garden today, enjoying our garden life. So plot 22 was originally going to be a kids garden for a little bit of garden school when I thought that our little pandemic was just gonna be, you know, a month long. But it didn't turn out that way, but it's been a really fun plot to take care of. And here in this front corner, this is Bruce the giant pumpkin. This is from the seeds of the giant pumpkin that I grew in plot 3 last year. And I put a video up about...
Hey, we found something!
Awesome!
It's a big rock, a blue rock!
Whoa!
Look!
Let's take a look. Show it to the camera.
It looks bluish, but it's actually grayish.
Oh, cool.
We did this up.
So I did a video of seeding this pumpkin and germinating it in the oven, and you can check that out. I'll link it here. And it's growing right along. It has barely just started on its first set of secondary vines. So this main vine right here is going to grow straight down, and then you can see this right here is its first set of secondary vines. And those are going to branch out kind of like a Christmas tree. Behind that, I've got an acorn squash, a delicata squash, some corn that I grew from seed. Along the trellis here, I've got mini pumpkins, and those I grew from seed. They've been kind of slow to take off, but they're getting there.
Stop!
Finn, let's use kind words, okay?
Digging.
Then here I've got some Oriental yard long beans, and these have been really slow to take off. I'm not sure what's going on with the yellowing of the leaves. Something's going on. And then I also seeded, because I felt like those weren't coming up well, I seeded some Blue Lake pole beans in there as well. But they're finally starting to take off. Careful with that dirt, Kellen. This, you can see, is starting to get ready to trellis up that. That's so exciting. So underneath the trellis, I've got beets, and they did not germinate very well. Some of the ones that are doing well, but there was a lot of this weed in here, and these look pretty much just like beet sprouts. So it was really hard for me to keep it weeded at first. Then along this side of the arch trellis, I've got another baby pumpkin, more beans, and then these I believe are either a butternut squash or a watermelon. There is something here, I don't remember what it is. Maybe that's the watermelon. It's not doing so hot, but whatever. We're just hoping that this fills in and looks pretty. I threw some pole beans down here, bush beans down here for fun. And then this back area was seeded with a wildflower mix. And this weed has just been all over the place. The community garden plots are a lot different than gardening in my raised beds at home. And the weed activity is insane. So I'll be weeding this some more today and putting down some to prevent further weeds, because I think I'm just too nervous to put down straw because I'm worried it's going to sprout. So this pumpkin is going to end up growing here, and I want to kind of train it into the center of that arbor, and hopefully those beets will be all done by that point in time. So that's plot number 22. Boys are having a great time with it today. Here's some more of the community garden. I got to meet my neighbor gardener here, so that's really cool. Some friends with young kids garden in this plot. Here's a little view of how it's growing. This is my friend Steph and Hillary's triple plot extravaganza. And then next to that is my other plot, plot 3. You can see that that pumpkin is doing great. So I've been doing a little bit of digging here. You can see I've probably removed about 3 feet of weeds and grass. That's just kind of what all this looks like. Here it is in the wheelbarrow, and it's fairly easy to do, not too horrible. Okay, not easy. It's medium, but it's getting really sunny out here. You can see it's super bright. We've got sunscreen on, but we can only last so long in this sun. So I'm gonna hopefully I'll get this done. I don't know if I will. I might have to come back another day. I tried to convince those little excavators back there to do some work behind me, but they said no. They just wanted to work on their hole, and they tried to convince me that I should be working with them instead of, you know, being productive. They also said that they want to sign up for their very own plot next year and just dig a giant hole in it. So you can see what their interests are right now. Paleontology, here we come, or possibly geology. You know, there's a few options, so we'll see. But in the meantime, I better get back to digging here before it gets too hot. Well, I didn't make it much further, but one kid's got dirt in his eye. The other one I had to tell he had to stop digging. So we're not gonna last much longer here. I was really hoping to get this all cleared out, but I don't want to force my kids to be here and have them dislike this place. Hey everybody, it's a new day. I'm back here at the community garden. Yesterday just got way too hot and the kitties need to get home. So it's a lot cooler today. It's very windy out. I'm back here. This is my plot 22, my kind of everything plot that was going to be the school plot. And I am back at the corner here. This is kind of the last area that I need to get weeded. This had wildflower seed thrown in here. And a lot of, there's a lot of this weed that I've been pulling out of everywhere.
Weed that looks like a carrot. I know I just found a carrot. Look.
Oh, maybe.
I'm looking. I need to be underground. This guy never made it.
Never made it.
Doesn't even look good.
All right, the boys have been having fun digging. I've been having fun pulling these weeds. I got this back section weeded enough for my taste. There's probably still weeds in here that I'm assuming are flowers, but I'm gonna let them get to a certain height. Sorry. And oh, you found a piece of money?
No, that's not a piece of money. That's just a worm.
We're having a good time digging. You can see it's a bit windy today. So what I'm up to now is I've got these beans that I pre-sprouted at home, and I'm going to show you what those look like and where I'm putting them in. So the reason why I am pre-sprouting these beans is, one, I'm in a little bit of a hurry, and two, I put down Preen Naturals weed preventer. It's a pre-emergent weed herbicide, so it does not allow seeds to germinate, is what that does. And it's a natural product. I don't know a ton about it, but I wanted to give it a try because I don't get out here a lot to take care of it, and I didn't want to use straw because I have experiences with them, the seeds in the straw sprouting. So I had to pre-germinate these beans. They are looking fabulous. It's been less than 48 hours and they are ready to get into some soil. I can see a few of them didn't really survive, like that one right there. These have been sprouting for less than 48 hours. I put them on a wet paper towel, like a very soaking wet paper towel, in my oven on an oven sheet, and then turn the oven light on. And so they sprouted within that time, and I'm thinking most of them are going to be pretty successful. So I'm going to pop those in the ground. I hope they're to the, like, I didn't know how far in the germination process this product will halt seeds, so I don't know if they needed to grow more or what, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm just going to tuck them in some of these empty spaces around this area to fill in some spots where I can grow beans. The boys are having a great time over there, digging and digging. Here we are, just finished up for the day in the community garden. The boys have dug a lot of digging and eating lunch and hanging out and playing. I did finish weeding there in the back and put down some of those bean sprouts, and then I trimmed back some of the weeds here along this fence line that's on the outer edge of the garden, and then just threw down these burlap sacks that I've had sitting around for a long time. Ideally I would have removed more vegetation before putting those down, but I brought them here finally, and instead of sitting in a pile, I'm just going to throw them down like that and see what they can do for suppressing those weeds. I laid them down and then I sprayed them really well as I was watering the garden, so that hopefully they kind of start settling into place. Hey everybody, it is Friday. I'm back in the garden. I'm hoping to finish up my few chores for the week. I've got my son Finn with me right there. He's working on his golf swing. We brought his golf clubs and some wiffle balls, and he is working on making contact with that ball. So here I am with plot 22, my kind of catch-all plot. But what I really need to work on is my giant pumpkin plot. It's been super windy here this week, and the giant pumpkin is getting huge, but the wind blew it over. And I even had it staked down with lawn stakes, but it grew so much that there wasn't enough lawn stakes on it. And I came last night when I watered, and it was all like rolled and flopped over. So I need to put a lot more stakes on it. There's a second set of secondary vines. So now it has 2 sets of secondary vines. I need to get those buried and staked down. I'm going to throw down some blood meal for some extra nitrogen to help really work on that leaf growth. And maybe finish weeding behind that giant rhubarb. And maybe even harvest some of the rhubarb so that I can make some jam. Or blueberry rhubarb crisp is really good too. We got a big problem here. So this must have happened when the wind blew it over. There is a cut in, that is the main vine right there. It's split open. This is really disappointing. It will heal itself, I'm hoping, but it definitely is going to put a stall in some growth. So I'm gonna have to call my dad on that one and see what we need to do other than just keep taking care of it. Bummer. Here's an overview shot of the pumpkin plant. This is where it's planted, right back underneath those. What I'm pointing at here is the main vine, and there's the end of it. It's probably about, I'm guessing, 10 feet long. I've been meaning to write some measurements on the edge boards, but I haven't. Here's an example of where I've buried the vine. You can see there is a fruit. I'm not sure that one got pollinated or not. This little dusting of black stuff is bone meal. And here's the split in the vine. It starts here and it's probably about 10 inches long all the way to that little armpit there. This is a secondary vine that I've got staked down right there. This one right here is the really long secondary vine that could potentially become a primary main vine. I'd have to kind of turn where I have it pointing. And then you can see there's another secondary vine The secondary vines on this side are a lot shorter. There's one right here. There's one right there with a male flower on it. There it is here. Got it buried and staked in a couple spots. For some reason, this side of the plant has fewer secondary vines than that side of the plant. It could just be having to do with the way the sun shines on the plot, or maybe the way the wind blew it over. You can see that these leaves are not growing, like they're not facing up because it was rolled over. But I've got it all staked in as best as I can, and that's what it's looking like. So now that I've had my fret of my plant dying, I think it's gonna be okay. I think we're gonna come through. Well, it's been a busy week here at the community garden. I've worked on a lot of different chores. I never finished either of my weeding projects, but I don't think weeding projects really ever end. So I'm satisfied with the work I got done on the pumpkin patch and on my vegetable patch, and I'm feeling pretty good. I think that everything's ready for some sun next week. Hopefully we'll get some more sunny weather next week, and things will start popping and growing. The community garden is just looking amazing. People got lots of lettuce growing. There's lots of artichokes. I love all the artichokes here. This is the children's garden where people can harvest strawberries and whatever kids want to harvest through there. My friend Steph's garden is just popping with all these beautiful flowers. I've really had a great time here this week, and I hope that you've enjoyed hanging out with me in my community garden. And I really want to just inspire your people to get a chance. If you don't have a space to grow at home, growing in a community garden is so amazing because it makes it feel like you're at a farm. It makes it feel you're at like a much bigger space than just a tiny little patch somewhere. There's lots of great varieties of different things and lots of different styles of how to grow stuff. It's super inspiring. I would love to see and hear about other people's community gardens just to see how things work there and what you guys do as a community to keep your space beautiful. So if you are a person who works at a community garden, I'd love to know more. Go ahead and leave a few comments about what you love about your community garden. Or a lot of people are on waiting lists to get into a community garden. So if that's your case, tell me about places you hope to garden at. Thanks so much for hanging out with us and checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys soon.